How's it going, everybody? The choice which character you pick, which one you should main, or which ones are a waste of time, well, usually that gets overly complicated. Or rather, people overcomplicate the whole process. Tier lists from random players, tier lists from competitive players, random advice from friends, and one's own skewed balance perception. And then at the end of the day, you still feel like you made the wrong choice. And the reason might be factors that you might not even fully comprehend. Well, let's make it a little easier. But let me preface the whole thing first. Ideally, you just pick whoever you think looks cool and you're having fun with. Don't force yourself to play something you do not enjoy just so you can win, because that win will probably not be as fun as you had hoped for. Before we dive into it, something else real quick. Sponsor time, but don't skip ahead please, I need your help. You all know Viking Jewelry and you know how long they've been working with me. So what we're doing is a necklace with a design specifically for me, or you guys rather. These here are the preliminary designs and I want feedback. Give me your honest thoughts please, no need to sugarcoat anything, honest opinions please. I'll keep you guys updated and will obviously annoy you with it in the near future. In the meantime, I do have discount codes for other products on their website. First one is a 15% off on the apparel section. Either traditional Viking clothing or modern stuff with Viking designs on it. T-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, you name it. Use Freeze15 at the checkout or follow the link down below. That one is valid for the next 48 hours. And if you've been eyeing anything else in the store, I also have the code 10freeze for 10% off on the whole store. That one will work until the 31st of May, so the rest of the month. All the rings, bracelets, earrings and so on. They have a ton of stuff, so go check it out and browse a little. I'm sure you can find something you like. And keep in mind that there will soon be another pendant available. All links down below. Alright then, how do we identify the best character for matchmaking? And I won't give you a list here or a definitive answer. What we're going to do is look at properties that the average player struggles against and features of heroes that will make your time in matchmaking easier. One of the most crucial aspects of matchmaking that the best tier lists ignore, simply because it's irrelevant for them, are perks. Perks heavily influence the viability of a hero. They heavy perks is the name of the game. The initial premise of perks was to be, on average, slightly weaker than a tier 1 feat. Yet, what we got was some heavy perks that would be strong as a tier 3 feat. And the ones I'm talking about specifically are Vengeful Barrier, Last Stand, Bastion and Bulk Up. These four are by far some of the strongest. I know that there is a vital discussion about Bulk Up and Last Stand in terms of effective health, and I've done that video in the past, years ago actually. For Honor was in a different state back then, but the strength of the perks only shifted minimally, I'd say. Nowadays, people gravitate more towards Last Stand. The perk gives you 40% damage reduction when you are at critical health. That means less than 25 HP. With the prevalence of shields, this makes this particularly strong, because a full shield and your health at critical, that means all of your shield HP receives that damage reduction. So Revenge Shield Bug, Vengeful Barrier, any of the feat shields, be that Phalanx, Sinister Shield or whatever else. There are tons of sources for shields nowadays, so you can benefit from that a lot. And on top of that, one of the most important aspects of that perk is the psychological effect it has. Your opponent getting a guard break on you and they're heavy doing only 15 damage and not killing you, well, that's annoying as fuck. For Honor is an infuriating game. People are on edge when they play and the tiniest little thing can set them off. I personally fucking hate when this happens. It's fucking retarded. If your opponent is tilted, they're more prone to mistakes, which should make the fights easier for you. I'm not advocating to do this on purpose via whatever methods, simply pointing out that Last Stand will do this for you, free of charge. I don't think I need to go over all the heavy perks here, most of you are already familiar with them. If you're not, please check out the info up and the descriptions there. Links to the site can be found in the video description as well. Simply look for Last Stand, Vengeful Barrier and Bastion. Those are the three you want and most likely will run on every single character that has them available. The synergy between them is unlike any others, in particular Last Stand and Vengeful. And the strength of these alone just trumps pretty much all other perks. I plan to do a best perk sort of video in the future, so we'll take a look at many of them in that video, not only the heavy ones. But if you check who has heavy perks, there are quite a few characters. Conqueror, Lawbringer, Blackbriar, Warlord, Highlander, Jormungandr, Shugoki, Aramusha, Hitukiri, and Jungjun. Many of these aren't considered top tier picks at the competitive level at the moment. But for matchmaking, the perks do help you a ton. Never underestimate what heavy perks can do. Let's look at something else though. When you check what people are complaining about, one of the most mentioned properties is Hyper Armor. Hyper Armor is, at the same time, the most hated as well as the most requested feature. Which points to one thing. The majority of players has no clue what the fuck to do against it. This is mostly because they mindlessly press buttons, since early on the game taught them that spam works. But if you just attack into somebody all the while ignoring frame advantage and hyper armor, then your interrupt attempts quickly turn into unfavorable traits. The complaints, "I can never interrupt XYZ character," well, it's something I read very often. And 99% of the time I scratch my head and ask myself, why are people even trying to interrupt them? And that's not some new trend or anything. This has been a consistent complaint for years now, which leads me to believe that people will never adapt. It's not going to happen. Against the average player, hyper armor will always be strong. So choose a character with lots of hyper armor and ideally a 100 MS startup into those moves. Let's take an example character from the two categories that I just gave you, just to highlight something real quick. So we're taking heavy perks and hyper armor. Well, Hitukiri it is. At the comp level, Hitukiri is regarded as absolute trash. Neither in 1v1s, 2s or any of the 4s modes is Hitukiri regarded as a strong pick. Yet, at the same time, people hate the hero, or rather they hate fighting him. Sure, might be the ever-looping 24 damage charge bash, but I'd wager to a much lesser degree. One last aspect before we move on when it comes to hyper armor is the ease of use. Trading is not exactly complicated. Trading effectively is, but that's only really needed when you get better. In the average match, swinging wildly is a viable strategy. Medjay is the perfect example here. Huge hitboxes with hyper armor, being 360 degrees of in the fucking way is a viable approach. But yeah, one last property I want to mention. Dodge recovery cancels. They are not as straightforward as the other two, especially nowadays when you have no guard during your dodge, but they are one of the most complained about character properties. The average player wants things to be simple. The less thinking that is required, the better. Nothing wrong with that approach when it comes to single player games, but when you expect the same when fighting other human beings, then I don't know what to tell you. Point is, what most players want is the following. If A happens, then they can do B. Every single time. No exception. When there is an exception, they don't like it. And dodge recovery cancels are a huge exception. Let me summarize. These 3 points I gave you here are merely guidelines that should help you identify what character might be strong in your skill bracket. Heavy perks are objectively broken everywhere, so that one's a no-brainer, but the effectiveness of the others depends on who are you facing. And for many, the probably hardest thing is to realize what skill bracket you're actually playing in. Maybe admitting you're not top tier is something many don't want to do. But regardless, matchmaking is different than comp play, and thus the powerful picks can differ slightly, or greatly even. Overall, more heroes are viable to be picked, and if you look at the examples I gave you in this video, I'm sure you can understand why you might struggle against heroes like Shugoki or Warlord. Let me know if you have any characters that you particularly hate fighting, yet everybody says they're trash. Don't forget to check our sponsor Viking Jewelry and all the other links down in the description. Having said that, hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.
Okay, one rage quit already, so the bot's actually going to play the objective far better than they are. I'm so sorry, Bestie. I am so sorry. I made up for it.
That worked.
Oh, nice. Oh wow, that's beautiful, bro. Dummy damage.
You're having way too much fun. No,
I love it. I love it. And the best part is I'm not having fun because of Verona, I'm having fun because of everything around Verona.
I actually put your skull into a vase.
Yeah, the like dented baby head doll, me.
Right,
Where's everybody? Oh, there's two.
The fucking giggle. What was he cooking?
Oh, for fuck's sake, really?
Oh,
How did that not interrupt? What the fuck?
not
Man,
sure.
this pair hate me.
Help.
I help him. I help on
help
A.
me.
I help on A.
No.
I
got
saw it
clowned
coming.
on.
As soon as I watched your POV, I saw the shit and I was like, I had this happen literally the other day. Good luck. So unfortunate. Go on, Phrase. I believe in you. You can get the content for your video. No, Lunas. No, no.
It's
You
fine.
bastard. We wanted video content.
Oh, map was good.
It also would have been funny if you lost it.
Sure.
Which is what I was banking on. I'm out here looking for comedy in my gameplay.